And we are live. Welcome to The Contradiction, guys, with myself, Byron McDonald, and Lathea McCann. As I say each week, Facebook is a private owned interface, so if you do get logged off, just hop back into the page and you'll find a new link there. And we're also multi streaming on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and via Instagram with Yellow Duck. So comment and engage and get part of the show.
Hey, listen up. If you're lucky enough to fall in love with someone, try not to ruin it by Googling them. Okay.
The Contradiction with Lathea McCann and Byron McDonald.
Just to make sure you don't forget what we look like.
So as I say each week, The Contradiction is about bringing different viewpoints together and allowing you, the viewer, the opportunity to comment and engage and share your viewpoint on the topic. Each week, we get a new guest host with a new topic to discuss and contradict each other's viewpoints. So our guest host for tonight's show is an amazing guest. He is Stanley Jacobs from Cape Town, South Africa. Stanley spent the first 7 years of his life living in Parkwood and then later moved to Grassy Park, which as many people refer to as the Upper Cape Flats. Stanley is also the author of a book called The Cape Flats Love Affair, and his journey in writing started a few years ago when his colleagues at the time loved and enjoyed the content that he wrote. Stanley is also an admin of the Cape Flats Stories Facebook page, where he also shares stories of people living in the Cape Flats. So without any further ado, let us go ahead and bring on Stanley.
Stanley, how are
Hey,
you?
thank you guys. I'm good yourself.
We are perfect. We're excellent. It's a bit rainy here in the Cape, but I mean it's after all the heat that we've experienced this summer. I think it's well due.
How are you doing, man?
Indeed. I'm good. I can't complain. Like you said, it's raining in Cape Town. It's actually lekker weather to be intimate tonight. Hey.
as baby making weather, like they call it. Hey?
Yes.
So Stan, must we just get into it? But anyway, man, before we get into it, what have you been up to lately?
Man, I'm busy with my second book now. I have quite a few projects that I'm busy with. On the Cape Flats, we have a lot of disadvantaged areas. You know, there isn't libraries and things like that. So Cape Flats is all about literacy programs, and that is what I've been busy with. I have actually now started, with a few literacy programs, and that is what actually keeps me busy. And I still have a 9 to 5 job as well, so that is my hobby.
Okay. But Stan, you know why we brought you onto the show.
Yes, I do.
You know the main reason, and Sharon is knocking there. Sy moet smootjie and sy moet love make. She even said, "I stand the man. Hope you keep on dating your loved one."
Yes.
She talk about intimacy. That must be a
And I
topic.
think she also says, "Yeah, lekker weather for a klein what? Morchie.
Smootjie.
Smoochie."
But Stan, we brought you on the show for this topic. And you and I, we discuss various topics when it comes to the Cape Flats, when it comes to different relationship stuff in life.
Yeah.
And this is what the show is about, the relationships. Doesn't matter if with your partner, but today we're going a little bit intimate. So the question is, how often should you be intimate with your partner, Stan?
That's a good question, eh? Before I tell you how often you must get intimate, I need to tell you this. A lot of people have confuse intimacy for lust, and intimacy is something that for me it has three things. You need to be on that spiritual journey with your partner. You need to know the emotional side, and only then the physical side should actually happen. So if you have that balance, then intimacy should be every day, if I can answer you like that.
Oh, intimacy should be every day. Hy wil nie laat gaan nie, hy wil vashou elke dag.
But I agree with Stan. What you just said there, Stan, that people mistake intimacy for lust or even just sex. People think that intimacy should only be on a physical level, but intimacy is beyond physical. Like you said, you need to be able to connect on a spiritual level, on an emotional level, and a mental level if you really want to be able to enjoy the physical part of intimacy.
That's right, yes.
And before it can even be, and the thing is, even if you haven't connected in that way, I mean, here's the thing though, that when at the beginning of a relationship, sex, the physical part of intimacy,
Who has sex in the beginning of a relationship?
What are we loving? People, we're living in the 21st
I'm
century.
listening to the
The
lady
kind of
that's. I'm listening to the lady on stands. Cape Flat stories. You can't say that. She said you must wait for marriage.
yeah, well,
And all.
unfortunately, that doesn't happen in the 21st century. We all know that. That's
Yeah,
why,
yeah.
even to be open minded, parents as well, you need to be open minded because unfortunately, people these days don't want to. So there's so many people that don't even want to get married.
Mm,
So that's their choice.
mm,
So
mm.
we're speaking about intimacy in all aspects of
That's right.
relationship,
Yes.
whether you're married, whether you're in a straight relationship, in a opposite sex
Mm,
relationship, intimacy as a whole.
mm,
So at the beginning of a relationship, sex is usually spontaneous and it's fiery
Mm,
and you look it just happens naturally. Where
mm.
as the relation in a long term relationship, once you get to know the partner, it tends to become a bit more mechanical.
mm,
And why and I want to ask you, Byron, why do you
Why
think
me? What
we,
the hell did I do? Stan is a guest. Why can't you ask Stan?
both of you, why do you think that it then becomes mechanical as the relationship then moves forward? I don't know if I'm jumping the gun, but why
But
does it become mechanical?
why does it become mechanical?
Because that's why we're having this topic. Because
Okay,
how often should you be intimate with your
I don't
partner
know.
basically means that if you need to count the amount of times you're being intimate, then it means it's actually becoming
Now you
mechanical.
see why we have two guys on the show, not two women.
Well, women, please, I'm the only female on the panel. Please support me. Please comment what your thoughts are on this topic.
Okay, this is the reason why I have a guest host, but you directed the question to myself. Stan, I will answer on my side, but I'll let you go first.
on the spot. Mechanical. You know what? I was just thinking, like as you get older, the body
Mm.
gets slower, right? You're not that fast anymore in things and that and when you start marriage, when you start a relationship, you have sex like every day, twice a day. Believe it or not, sometimes 4 times a day. You know that right is there.
Mm,
But as you get older, the sex sort of, kyk jy man, die dinge se die arthritis en hy goed kom is nog by and you know what? So you still have your intimacy, the mechanical side of things. But like I say, if that fire is still burning, where you open the door for her, where
mm,
treat her nicely, I think once you have that relationship, the mechanical side will, like I said, you will have, the you will have sex like a lot, but when you get older, it's not so a lot anymore. However, when you do have it, it will be intimate like every day. So I don't know if I answered you, but as you get older, the body gets slower, and I think also that as long as that spiritual side is there, that emotional connection is there, intimacy will not only be during sex, but it will be when you open the door for her, when you talk to her, when you hold her hand. I think
mm.
there is more where I would come in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. From my side again, your question was why does it become monotonous basically?
Mechanical. It becomes
Monotonous.
more like a job as the relationship moves
Yeah.
forward.
Now you see, this is the thing also when the relationship gurus or whatever give you advice, they always say try to spice things up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not something that's been coming around only now. It's been coming around for years when I say spice things up. And to go to Sharon's point also, Sharon says intimacy is not just about sex. So
Mm-hmm.
Sharon, I'm also gonna agree with you, it's not just about sex, but the thing is we become so monotonous, and sex is a big part of intimacy. You can do what you want to do. Sex is a huge part of a relationship,
Mm.
because 'n vrou gaan nie bly met 'n man met 'n klein trillie. Ek sê dit nou al klaar vir jou. As
I don't know.
this doesn't work, she don't stay too
Yeah.
long or she might cheat.
No, but there are many ways.
Wait. Let me get to my point.
Okay,
It
okay.
leads to a point. So how do you work on that? Get dildos, get vibrators, whatever you can add on. She likes you for your personality. You can add on more. This is what I'm trying to get to. You must reinvent your relationship each day.
Mm.
Each and every day, it must be a new thing. You must be so open to discuss things in your relationship,
Mm.
be it sexual, be it in the materialistic side of life. You need to be open to this discussion of changes each day in your relationship.
Mm.
You can't expect, because you and your partner has been doing missionary style for a year, you both are satisfied. That doesn't work like that. You as a male or as a female might be satisfied, but it's not that way. I'm not a female, but I know female has bold emotions and
Mm.
all these things. So each day they change. Men hulle bedlikheid en men hulle happyheid. So they change each day. You get what I'm saying?
Mm.
So I don't know. Does that point make itself clear when I
No,
say that?
I also have my opinion. And yes, I agree with you. But why is it that when sex perhaps in a relationship is not if you don't have it as often as you'd like,
Mm,
as perhaps the man would like it,
mm,
then it's seen as if there's a problem with the person or there's a problem in the relationship,
mm.
as if there's something missing in the relationship, because
From
intimacy,
the
as
man's
Stan said,
perspective.
in most cases, as Stan said, that intimacy should be beyond just the physical aspect.
Mm,
And I think that as a relationship moves forward, and as the longer you start dating, many people, as Sharon said, that's why I say couples should keep on dating. That when they're in a long term relationship, they stop doing the things that they used to do
mm.
to pursue that person at the beginning of the relationship.
Exactly.
That's why it was so spicy. That's why it happens spontaneously. But I think it's a natural phenomena that it becomes mechanical because you become familiar with the person. The person is there with you every day, and
Mm.
you um, you probably don't see them through what the next person through. You don't see them through the same eyes as what you did at the beginning, perhaps.
What eye do you
Um,
see them through?
because you become more familiar, which is why I agree that you need to be reminded each day also how you used to see your partner. And usually that only happens when you see your partner, when you see how somebody else sees your partner as well.
Exactly. Exactly. How do you feel about that, Stan?
I do agree with you, and this is just something that I want to add also. There must be a communication between you and your partner where you guys talk about sex. I mean, the other thing is this: where I grew up, my father and my mother never spoke about sex, and you would just hear on a Sunday afternoon, the father would tell us go sleep, church later on, and I would just to, but they never spoke about these things, and this actually it actually went over to the children, and that's why you must have a relationship. Girl, are you happy with what I'm doing? Must I lose more weight? Must I, how must I do it? So there must be a communication, because sex is not what you only want. Sex is what you and your partner decide on at the end of the day.
Oh, I agree with you there, Stan, that the people in a relationship, the individuals in that relationship, need to be comfortable to really communicate what they
Mm,
want within that relationship. And I
mm.
think many times there is a fear to communicate openly what you want, because you don't want to offend your partner. And like you said,
Exactly.
communication is important.
Exactly.
However, there was something I wanted to touch on, but I just Jabari, you can comment because I just
So
flipped
I
went
wanted to go
past.
to the point Stan made, and maybe let's quickly take two comments before I eat to that. Let's just go randomly. So Sharon made a comment here. She said, "At all times, couples should never ever stop dating.
Uh-huh.
Couples think when they married, it's okay they have each other.
Yes.
That's where everything goes wrong. Keep on dating. Keep on being intimate."
Uh-huh.
Just my opinion. I agree with Sharon totally
Exactly.
on that one. And then maybe we take a total opposite twist because we know how hectic Shaz can get with her comments. So let's look for something that's lots too vulgar, Chaz, today because we need to read it out. But man, let's just go with anyone. This is your comment, Chaz. So I like to all the time. I need to help me write my forms, help me get through
Through
the
the
stress.
stress.
So yeah, so she needs to not just the one part of intimacy. She needs it all the
Yes,
time,
yes,
all
yes,
the
yes.
time to get all that dopamine in the body. Stress
But
is like a
okay,
drug.
the
Wait quickly.
okay.
So the point I was trying to make is, Stan, you said that you must communicate. Yes, fair enough.
Mm,
But you as yourself should also know if you picked up weight. You should know if you don't look good, because only when you don't feel good, your
Yeah.
partner would tell you, no, I'm happy just the way you
Mm,
are. I'm happy how you look. You should
mm.
sort yourself out, not be the whole time.
yeah.
Baby, do I look okay? Baby, am I okay? Baby, do you think I'm fat? Baby, do you no?
Mhm.
Go sort your shit out, and then you will know. Be sure. Sorry, be sure about yourself. You'll be sure
Yeah.
about yourself, and then you can go out there without having to worry, because this is the problem in the relationships. And sorry for cutting you off all of this, because I wanted to make this point and it's quite
Mm.
valid. This is the important part of relationships. People are scared to get out of relationship because of familiarity,
Mhm.
because they're scared they're not going to
Mm,
find someone else, because they've jumped into this comfortability of this
mm,
relationship, like Sharon said, and then they lose all that thing. Why do you have everybody make all these memes like when you're in a relationship, it's married, it's so bad, it's not liquor, you argue,
mm,
but yet people want to be in one because they know it's the right thing to do, and people
mm,
want to be with people.
I think that it's because people don't want to really put in the work to make a relationship work. And
mm,
yeah, every relationship, they think that a relationship should always be sunshine and roses. But
Mm,
the reality is that it takes work. It's a job. You need to constantly invest your energy into it. And if you're not willing
mm,
to do that, then don't be in a relationship. Because
mm,
the problem is that if you're not fulfilled within yourself, you want to draw energy out of the next person, and
exactly.
that's why you're in a relationship, because you don't want to be alone.
Mm,
But yet you don't want to put in the work. You don't want to put in the work within yourself, and you also don't want to put the work in the relationship. And intimacy is also affected when you feel insecure within
mm,
yourself and in the relationship. You cannot communicate your feelings clearly if you feel that the next person might take offense or might use it against you in the future. Like, yeah, oh yes, you told me you like that, you fantasize about that. Oh, you told me that. You need to really be open, because when you're with somebody for 20 odd years or 10 years, even to be with the same person sexually, I mean, it does become monotonous. So how do you spice things up? How do you get that fire started? As a woman also doesn't just want to feel that whenever the only time her man wants to touch her is when he wants sex.
and that's most of the time.
You know, so a man also needs to continuously pursue a woman, because that's why we're having this talk. Because I think a man generally always wants to have sex, where a woman is perhaps she doesn't have to have sex all the time. So
Well,
how do you really how do
because
you
a
get a
man's not
woman
good in
started?
bed.
How do you get a fire,
Stan,
fired up?
what's your opinion, Stan? Where do you stand
mm.
on this?
Where do I stand on this one? I do agree with you. That you need to they need to be a connection, and a lot of people are in relationships and they are unhappy because there isn't a communication. There's nothing. There's no sex. There's no relationship. Nothing, and they just stay there. In some cases they stay there for the children. They stay there. Maybe maybe the wife or the husband's gonna get a nice pizza. Not pizza pension, pizza, and that is actually a problem because there's no communication. Why stay in something that is dead? Why stay in something that is not alive anymore? So like I say, it comes from both sides. And I think me and you actually had this conversation, Byron, where it's a 50-50 relationship. And the partners needs to know this is a relationship is an ongoing thing. A lot of people lose each other along the way. They outgrow each other, and especially when you get married for the wrong reasons. You get married because you want to get out of the house. You want to get married because you want to buy your first house. Now you get married, but you only have that intimacy for the first year. After the children are born, there's no more intimacy. And like the lady said, you should keep dating. You should keep dating your partner. It should be like the first time when you met her. It should be like the first time when you saw her. So we tend to move away from that that relationship where we were close. Sometimes we start intimate, but we end up far apart from one another.
How often
I put her on
should
mute
you?
because she keeps on mentioning my name, so I put her on mute during those times.
The question. Okay, so we're talking about intimacy, right? And we agree that intimacy surpasses the
But I said
physical.
let's go to some comments.
Well, okay, we can go to some comments, and then I'll go back to, because I don't want to lose my train of thought.
Okay, we need to give the audience
Okay, let's
a
give the
chance.
audience.
This is the part of the
Okay,
show.
so Sharon Mitchell says, I believe my parents were in their long years of marriage, not because of intimacy, but my mother was dependent on my dad.
Okay,
Mm.
okay. So before we read
Mm.
Shaz's comment, this is what Sharon said. Shaz, maybe you should use another word. I don't think Shaz agrees with you. Shaz lives a free life.
Cher says, be adventurous. In public, do shit to make your heart pump. As long as you with that special person, spit.
Eating ass, all that, doing exciting shit.
Yeah,
I get what
Mm,
Shaz is saying, and it might sound vulgar the way she's bringing it across,
yeah.
but it's a valid point. You need to be free in your
Mm,
relationship. But
exactly.
go shoot that question you wanted to shoot.
Now you see there.
Okay, Stan,
mm.
how do you feel? She doesn't remember a question.
I do agree with what the lady says. You know, like I say, you should do this stuff in public. I mean, when you get married, you go park at the beach. You have a room, but you go park at the beach. You go park in the mountain. You do your thing, you know, and you, man, you need to explore. Like you said earlier on, you are used to one style only, and also that also men also get bored with it. You know why? Because we sit in circles, we sit with our friends, and then
Mm,
the guys will talk about, you know, I did this and I did that, and sometimes you also want to explore, but
Exactly.
your partner's not ready for it. And I want to bring
Mhm.
something back to you, you know, where I want to say that religious people are people that don't want to explore. They,
Exactly.
you know, they think, okay, you know, just do it missionary style. That is
Uh,
what Jesus would have liked, you know. So we need to, and that's why you have a lot of unhappy people, like Sarah said, a
especially
mother.
in the churches and in the mosque, you saying they look
en
unhappy.
daar's ook al wel 'n Joel, nê. Hy's die
Yeah,
grootste wel 'n Joel. Dan word
Come
jy
Joel
on,
was
dis 'n
mention names.
pastor, maar hy Joel.
Mention names.
Nee. I don't want to implicate anybody. But it's true, Steph, what you just said there.
But Joel, the cake and the mosque. I thought it's only men that go to mosque. So what's going on?
The cake also.
But I get what he's saying. But I actually kind of disagree with the two of you. At the churches, at okay, I can't speak about the mosque, but I can speak about church. It's quite exciting there.
Mhm.
There they find their loved ones, and I trust you. Those people are more kinky than what you know, what you thinking.
But
The
yet,
two of you want to say they missionary style. It's the people that want to live so upright that
uh-huh.
is more missionary style than anything else. You know.
And you know, this is a very very important topic. I think one of the most important things in a relationship, and this
Mm.
is why most relationships fail, because they lack intimacy. The lack of intimacy, whether it be through physical intimacy, you can't connect on a mental level, or there's a spiritual imbalance between the two of you, or an emotional there's a lack within that relationship emotionally. This is the reason why either relationships fail or why people cheat, because now they want to seek what they're not getting outside of the relationship. They want to seek, yeah, what they're not getting in the relationship, they want to seek outside.
Oh,
So intimacy is actually the most important thing. It makes the relationship, intimacy is what makes a intimate relationship intimate.
okay.
That's what obviously makes um
So what do you use define as intimacy?
like Stanley said, it's not just the physical part. It's, are you sitting down? Are you talking with your partner? Are you
Okay,
connecting with your
what is the
partner? Are you
most
spending
important
time
part
with
of
your
intimacy
partner?
to you?
Do you communicate?
What is the most important part of intimacy to you? And to you, Stan. I'm asking both the
For
question.
me, communication and
Okay.
understanding. If we can communicate effectively and if we can understand each other, oh my word, that is then you don't have to worry about the physical part.
But that part's the difficult part. Anyway, Stan, what does it mean to you?
I think I agree with her as well that once you have that communication opening, and when you guys talk, remember, sex automatically happens. So you start by, you know, chatting with her, making her feel excited, you know, and then that is how you get into her emotional side. And once you
Mm.
have that, you know, but that's why it should be every day. You should every day have your
What
communication
have
open.
everyday sex? What's that?
Every day, yeah. Why not? Why not? Why not? You know, the thing is this: if you meet the right partner, or
Mm.
you, or sort of you enjoy your partner's you know, talking to your partner a minute, you become intimacy immediately. Because remember, if you keep a hand, you must still have that thing after 10, 12 years where you still, you know, get horny for her. You should still, if you touch a bums, my ass, you know, you should still, hey, but it's still nice and firm. You should explore from day one, and that should
Exactly.
continue. So it is an ongoing thing. It is something that you do for many years.
Of
Okay.
course, of
So
course.
now you both have answered that question, right? So remember, our audience are involved with us also. So let me just quickly go here
So
quickly.
Sharon
Three
says,
comments.
um, preacher's wife gave my husband one of the church lady en toe vat haar man van die preacher Toe vat haar man wat die preacher is, 'n ander kerksuster.
Gooi hy laundry so maar buite share. Gooi hom. Let us weet.
Woo!
Let us
That
understand.
is home. So by what you just said is home to share it there. Eh?
No, but I told you that that's what happens, and I can understand. So let's quickly go to one comment by Tanya. Then we can go
Tanya
on.
says, Claudine, I think when you get married, your sex life does change. Communication is important from both sides, yes, and couples do need to take some time out to keep the flame alive. And laugh out loud, Byron. I don't think that size matters for everyone. What we need to be comfortable with is our bodies because women feel they are being less desired after having kids. Oh, that's also the important.
That's what I
is,
wanted to get.
are
I
men-
wanted to get to
are-
that point now.
What is a man also doing to make his woman feel comfortable?
But
yes,
I
you can
wanted
be.
to get to
You
that
can
point
be comfortable
now.
as a woman. You can be confident and comfortable in your own skin.
But I wanted to get to
you
that
want
point
to-
now.
You want your man to be desired by you, and if he cannot make you feel like he's desired by you, how do you then become intimate with him?
Like this.
Because then you
So before
is the guy saying, you know what, babe, you're beautiful, or like Stan said,
even
go
if he
ahead.
says if he takes this off,
As-
no
as
matter
she's
what he said, you'll walk away.
No, but there's ways and means to get around that, Biden. These
But that's
days,
what I
that
said.
doesn't matter.
That's what I said earlier. But anyway, let me just go into that. You see how you almost make me lose my train of thought. But luckily,
Yeah, I
I'm a
tried to
boy that thinks fast on his feet. Luckily, I'm that type of boy. Anyway, Stan and Lathia, I asked you both a question, right? The question was, what is important in intimacy to you? You said communication. What did you say?
Communication.
And you also
understanding.
agreed communication.
Yeah.
Now, why? Why? Big question, why? Does people break up? Why do they break up when the partner cheats on them via sex? Okay. And maybe just a one night stand. But they don't break up with their partner when their partner has an emotional relationship with someone else that's of the opposite sex because they don't see it as cheating then. Why?
In order for it to have become physical, there of course had to be an emotional connection. So the fact that
No. My question wasn't structured like that. If you listen, I think I articulate myself well, right? So my question was, why do people break up?
because they value sex, they value sex a lot.
Exactly. So you
But
guys,
that's the thing; it all depends what's important for you. And like I said, what was important for me in a
Yes.
relationship
Okay.
is communication and understanding.
Okay,
but
so
if,
why
if
is it
that was if that was there, then
So why is it taboo? Why do us as humans look at other people that swing, polyamorous, everything that's unknown, everything that we were not taught? Why do we see it as taboo when those people are still in an emotional relationship, communicate more open to each other than cheaters? Let's put it as such. But they are frowned upon and looked down upon. Why is it as such? But those who cheat on their partners get their partners back, but those who are in a polyamorous relationship are looked at as, "Ooh, you fail, you dirty, ooh, that's not nice." But sex was seen as an object to use in your relationship just to enhance yourself. But yet we as humans and people that's been suppressed, or how can I conditioned by society, think that sex is more important. So both of you have answered it correctly and said communication or emotional attachment. But yet, if your partner has to go sleep with someone else now, right, on a one night stand, right, maybe you're not that type of person, but just majority of people will say, "I will never be with that person again. He's a cheater. I hate him," and stuff, right? But you won't call someone else with your partner sitting a whole year just chatting to a girl and something intimate, sharing his life. It might not even be like that. It happens at workplaces.
But the
You
thing
don't
is,
see it as
I
cheating.
wouldn't really know how far that relationship has gone on an emotional level. But when it comes to sex, you know exactly what happens in sex. There is that connection with emotional relationships. Most of the time, partners don't even know their partner's having an emotional relationship with somebody else, and they don't know how far or to what extent that relationship is. When somebody is being physically intimate with somebody outside of the relationship, that is also a break in trust. And it's it's also, like you said, it's how you come together. That is how you really also connect and how you show your love to somebody. Yes, you can have a friend even that can also understand you, and where you can also have a good you can be communicating and understanding your friend, but it's a friend.
Okay, I understand.
Where a sex
But of
makes
the
a
opposite
relationship.
sex, we'll get there now. I understand of the also said 6. That's what I was mentioning. I did
But
not
you
mention.
can have that same type of relationship where you also have
or even if you're
good
lesbian.
communication.
Even if you're lesbian.
You communicate well, and a friend, even if it's a best friend. I mean, you have had that where you have a best friend where you just feel you're understood and you can communicate with
But
this
you were
person.
my best friend.
I am now probably.
You were
I
my
am
best
now.
friend. You were my best friend. You're more than my best friend now.
Exactly, we were friends, but what changed? What changed the relationship?
6.
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
exactly. So exactly.
So
Anyway, now everybody knows we're banging. So let me just go. Then we got you on. You type it in, jump you. Ons three can praat. The two of us can bubble all day. You must in, man. You must just shut up. Biden, shut up. You must.
But I like what you actually said there, right? You might get enough sex at home, but the emotional side you might not get at home. So now you go to somebody at work where you can fight in somebody at work.
Mm,
Cheating does not only start with sex.
mm,
Cheating starts when you start talking to
mm,
somebody else and confiding in somebody else. Where you're supposed to have your partner supposed to be your best friend. Let's start there. Your partner is supposed to be your best friend, and I think once you guys have established that you are best friends, then everything else fall into place. But if you only said, that's why I said there must be a balance in the relationship. The balance is
mm.
very important. You must be open to communication. You must have that emotional bond, and then also the sex must be good as well. But if you miss one of those qualities, your partner's gonna look it for it somewhere else. A lot of people think a guy's having an affair with a woman because he goes to visit her, or he talks to her a lot, but maybe he doesn't get that in his relationship. That's where partners should have that, like it should be like a two-way radio where you talk, I listen, I talk, you listen, and that way we communicate. You must be able to talk about everything. Look, baby, I don't like that style. I want to play Boys to Men tonight, or what's the name? Kevin Campbell. I want to play that music tonight. I don't want to listen to Jim Reeves. Things like that. Everything you must talk about. It comes down to communication, and you build your way, into the emotional side, and then boom, banana.
Nice. Did we read out this one of Tanya?
yes, we did.
So let's go.
And then she
So
also
she says here, communication and understanding, even if you don't, haha, laugh a lot. Okay.
and then she also says, I think this is a question to Stan. Are you married that you think your wife will have sex every day?
Whoo, Stan. You
Good
don't know
question.
Stan. Stan bang like a man.
Yes, I've been married this year. I will be married for 16 years. For 16 years,
Wow.
and it's not always easy. Some people think when you're in a relationship, it's easy. It's not always easy. When the children were born, there was no sex because you couldn't sleep. You were tired. You worked. But now
Exactly.
there's a bit. Now you can make time because you must. Sometimes you can't have every day. We are tired. We're humans. Like myself, I've got 2 jobs, and sometimes you're tired. But
Mm.
then you need to also, just relax. But mommy, I need to sort you out. It's also your man duty to sort out your woman to make sure she's satisfied. Like I said, there's 3 things you need to look at: it's the emotional side, it's the physical side, and the spiritual side. So you need to look at those things. But there's not always time. Sometimes you have to wait till tomorrow night. I mean, you get to a stage where you say to yourself, at 6, it won't run away from you. It will be still there tomorrow, as long as you had a cup of coffee tonight. The talking part is very much important. The intimacy, we talk every night and have a chat before we go sleep. It's very important. How was your day? Was it okay? Or, what happened, and so on. So you focus on that. And tomorrow night or Wednesday night, we can bang, whole night when the children are sleeping.
Jou vrou dink net ja, sy beter hy bang nou bring, sy moenie net praat oor bangie. Let's just go to some of the comments, because this is what we're here for, to interact with you, the viewer, also to get your opinion, because it's not just us. Ons kan ook 'n klomp stroon praat. Moenie worry nie. We're human just as you. We figuring out stuff just as you.
We're not psychologists or relationship
Psychologists are also figuring stuff just as you. Some
We're
of them
giving our
some
personal
of them have
viewpoint.
never even been married or in a relationship. I'll give you a better advice. How do they say the person give the best advice has never done it? They give the best advice. Anyway, so let's go to comments quickly.
Okay, so let's go to
Salvino said, okay, let's get Salvino, welcome back. He says, I am only here for the comments. We're going to read it out now, Salvino.
Okay, so Sharon says, what hurts the most was I never had headaches. I was always like a everyday ready battery. Why would he go outside?
Sharon sê dit hy man lam gemaak jong en die man het weggehardloop. I mean, ja nou, wat wil hy nog vra voor? If you made him tired, he must just be laying. But I'm gonna tell you now, a man that wants to be kept will stay.
Exactly,
If he doesn't, you can bang him 5 times a day. Hy gaan nog altyd gaan cheat.
You can
a cheater stays a cheater.
You can do
And
you can do cartwheels during sex and hy gaan nog altyd te bly nie as hy wil cheat. Yeah,
there you
cheater
said it,
always remains a
a
cheater.
That's
Exactly.
it. Anyway,
And
so
Gino says PDA mandatory. Creating spontaneous moments keeps the spark alive. That random spank on the ass with the saying, as aand vanaand is an intimate moment on its own. You don't have to eat each other up right there and then.
Ooh, I love that. That is quite good.
Because that gives
and Gina, you make such a valid point from a male perspective. What I've learned, and I don't know if you can back me up as a lady here, that they like the mystery. They like the unexpected things. They don't like it to be monotonous. Oh, vanaand gaan my nou vrywe net op die tet, vrywe my op die hol en hier gaan ons. I know what's happening. Sometimes he wants you to push her up against the wall. Sometimes he wants you just to force a woman like to be not abused. Dominated, yes. Not abused. There's a big difference, my friend. Ons wil nie nou vir jou sien in vir GBV nie. We're talking about
that's a whole different
That's a whole different ball game there. So yeah, we're talking about when you got your partner. Sorry, ek spoeg al van lekker kry.
Hold on to that spot.
When you got your partner and you just do what you want to do because you know it's your partner, not in an abusive way. Listen carefully. Women love it. There's a fine line. Anyway, let's go more comments before ek kan nou vir Lathia warm maak so.
If you can go up. Just that one there.
That
I think
was
the chairs.
Sharon.
Sharon. Forgive every time when they cheat, but 24 long years is way too much. Enough is enough. I'm happily divorced and enjoy my singleness.
Lovely. How are you?
Rather be happy alone than unhappy with somebody else, Sharon. That's perfect. And then she goes on and says, what's nice sitting in your lounge with no TV, soft music at the back, enjoy some tea and chat. How cool is that?
Cool, man. No, I like it. I like your comments, guys, because you're making a lot of valid points. And this, like, I think Jasmine said it also there on this. This is good, important things we all need to know. You see, we all need to learn from each other and know these things, you know. So, Stan, where are you standing on this? I'm going to use that word stand all night. Stan, where do you stand?
Where do you stand at this stand? I like what Sharon is saying. She's being honest. She's being honest for 24 years. She's been cheating on her. And I mean, if a lady wants it every night, Sharon, if a lady wants it every night, there is something that, and also, this is what I want to talk about. Just something, a lot of men also think that the women are the slaves. And we tire them out because she must clean the house, she must cook, she must go work. Now we don't find this woman attractive anymore, or because she said blame she stays tired because she works every day and then she still have to raise the children. Now this is something that I see a lot in my community. The uncle said, "Yeah, my vrou doen die en sy doen hy, but hy help nie by die huisie. It doesn't bring his part." And now that also puts a lot of strain on the relationship because now she can't satisfy him sexually anymore. Ek meen, as jy moeg is, jy het 3 jobs, tennisport maak, kos maak, huis skoon maak, een of week, then you must still satisfy your husband. So I think we also need to talk about that because you as a man, and that goes for me as well, I must remind myself constantly, hey, you must bring your part because intimacy, we can govern intimacy by, not bringing our part because now we take away the sex side. And that is why we go and look elsewhere for a woman, to satisfy us, because why? Our wife can't do it anymore. She's tired. And there is a big problem as well.
Definitely. I agree with what you just said there, Stan. Is the man also bringing his part? And I think most of the time, as I said before, that this question arises because a man either feels he's not getting enough sex, or a woman feels that that the husband is demanding too much sex.
But that's not even the point. Like Sharon also said, no, don't understand me wrong. I meant whenever he wanted to be intimate, I was ready. I gave him no reason to go outside.
But listen to what Stan is saying. There comes a point in a relationship, and this happens a lot, I think, that people, the partners within the relationship, don't find the partners attractive
Anymore.
anymore, because like Stan says, she's doing everything in the household. Is the husband bringing his part? Is both parties bringing their part? Because I don't think it's always just that it's the woman
Mm.
that is a slave, but also a woman can also demand a lot from a man, where she also ends up not seeing him in the same light she used to at the beginning, because she also doesn't understand that changes in life happens,
Or she doesn't
and his
understand
position,
herself.
she also doesn't understand herself, and his position, your position in life can change. So maybe what she was attracted to before, if and yeah, because a lot of men also use them being able to provide and being able to, if you allowed your wife or your current wife or your partner to fall in love with you because of what you're doing for her, whether it be on a financial level, and you can't provide that anymore, then that can also affect the intimacy, because depending on whether or not that woman understands that your position in life has changed. So that can also be a reason why that there'd be a lack of intimacy or a lack of attraction. So the question is then, how do you continue keeping that the love alive, keeping that attraction alive, keeping the fire alive in the relationship while you are going through changes, individual changes within life? Because you're not going to be the same person you were 20 years ago, and
Of
people
course.
change as well.
You're not the same person you were yesterday.
So you constantly need to choose to fall in love with that person every single day and to find that person attractive.
Good point. I'm going to just read 3 comments, then you can answer that, Stan. Or I'll answer first. It doesn't matter. But I like throwing you under the bus. So eventually, no sex leads to arguments. Agree with you. Lack of communication. Sometimes you gotta remind a motherfucker why they deal with your shit so much. Hit that ass. So Jazz is making a point that people are scared to talk about.
And you know what? That just having that spontaneity. I mean, I had a friend that also came to me and said, his wife is his partner isn't giving him, is not very open. Do I have any advice from a woman's side? And I asked, okay, so what exactly do you spend time with her? What's the vibe like when you come home? Um, and he says, no, well, when we together, she usually does her thing and he does her. So I said, you know what, maybe you should spend time with her in the evening, go and sit and watch TV, do what she does, and try to connect with her by also
On her level.
by doing what she enjoys.
But who doesn't say he wants to do what he does? I'm kind of
And
disagreeing with
hold
what
on,
you
hold
say
on,
there.
hold on.
Kind of disagreeing with what you say
And then
there.
he came back to me and said, listen, but I tried that. And I said, okay, so what
But
exactly
that's a
happened?
trap. That's a trap a lot of couples fall into. What you just said now. Do what he does.
No, I'm
do
not
what
saying
she does.
Not do what he does, but also connect. You need to connect. You
Yeah,
need to
but
be able
I'm
to.
going to tell you now why I disagree with that.
Anyway, so he said, no, but I was sitting and watching TV. So I said, okay, so what was the vibe? Did you hold hands? So he said, no, but she was sitting on the one side and I was sitting on the other side. So I said, exactly. So I said, how do you expect them to be intimate if you're not pursuing, if you're not, like they say, hit that ass?
Yeah.
So if
But
if you're not communicating, if you're not touching a hand, if you're not saying, baby, you're beautiful, oh, you look sexy tonight, or you look sexy today, comments like that also makes a woman feel good and makes her also want to be intimate with you. And the same thing with a woman. Tell your man he's sexy. Tell your man he's looking good, or give him that compliment and make him feel good. Because if you're not going to do it, there's somebody outside that's going to do it for him.
That sounds so
And the same
airy-flairy.
and the same
That
thing is
sounds
going to
so
happen. What do you
airy-flairy.
mean, airy flairy?
Like that sounds so wishy-washy. I'll tell you now my point because I know where you were getting at. And that sounds for the dream makers of fairy tales, what you're telling them. Okay,
but that-
I'm going to tell you now what my point is. But we are getting to the comments of you viewers. So if both partners or spouses put the work to do things, you can make your point finish now. I just want to bring them in also.
Yes, we should.
so together it creates
Ons gaan nou argue vanaand.
Ons gaan lekker argue. A better relationship. And then Tanya says, because the show is going so quick.
Okay.
Then Tanya says, there's no excuse
It's
for
a personal
cheating. It's a
thing.
personal thing. You read beautifully because this is a
Okay,
scripture.
Marina McCann says, I think most couples are adventurous in the beginning. Couples should be more intentional and should first put their efforts the longer you're in the relationship. And women should be more present. It's not about being ready every time your man wants to be intimate, that counts. I think the man can sense if the woman is not enjoying the sex, and maybe that could be another reason why the man looks outside.
So Rina, I kind of disagree with you. Some men are block like dom. Hulle kan nie sense wanneer dit in is of in uit is nie. All they sensing is them being horny. So some men, I don't know if you agree with me on this, Stan. Just I need your answer. Do you agree, Stan? Some men is block dom. So, to the American view, some men are just a bit slow.
And that's the thing. And here's the thing. That happens when you only have sex to satisfy your own need.
And this where my point gets across. So you said earlier, Stan, die show gaan so gou. Stan and Lethea and you, the viewer. So what I was trying to say, you said they must connect in a certain way, right? I don't have to connect. Say for instance, I love playing FIFA or playing Xbox or what. That's my time. You don't need to come and connect with me and disturb me in my time. You don't need to come and sit in my time. We can connect in other levels, something that opposite attract. Connection means finding new things that we both don't know about, doing new things that we both haven't done together, not coming into my space. Oh, Lethea, you're reading a book. Come, I lay next to you while you read that book. That's quite irritating.
Well, of course, you also have to have your own individual time.
Exactly.
But you also need to do things together. That's the only way.
But only find new things together.
It's not just about being together. It's actually making that time that you have together count. And
that's right.
It's making it quality
But you
time.
don't need to go to that person's level or to connect with what that person's doing. That's not what the relationship is about. The relationship is about me bringing my happiness to you. I can still be happy without you, and you can still be happy without me. But look here, I just saw a new thing. Let's try it together. That's what's a relationship about. 2, 3 standing next to each other, but not covering each other's shade. Plain and simple.
Yes, but here's the thing though, and I do agree partially with what you're saying. However, I can also bring new things into your life that you can enjoy. For example, hiking, Biden. We started hiking together, and that's something that I enjoy.
We started having sex together, and you started enjoying it. Stan, where do you stand?
Yeah, man.
Sorry,
but it's true what you say. You must find things. No, I love it. You should actually, like what you said earlier on, you need to give your partner also space. Space is very important. It doesn't mean when you're a couple, you need to be together for 24/7, 365. You guys need to also have a break because you get fed up. You know, we are human, so you can't look into your partner's face the whole time. And like you say, if you want to play a bit of games, you want that bit of time for yourself. That's why you have boys night. But also, your partner must be able to trust you. Can't she send you out? Because you know, when boys are together, what do? They flirt, you know. And that is where you sort of need to understand.
They don't flirt. Don't say
that is actually another topic, eh? That's another topic, that flirting thing there, eh?
Stan, don't go and tell people that boys flirt in the boys' night. No, now I can never go on the boys' night. Don't say something.
Hello. And this is not probably too much information, but I mean, I'm quite open-minded, I think, in this relationship. I don't even mind him going to the strip club, which most women
Which you went with me. So don't come. Don't come now. I'll throw your linen out there. Don't throw my linen out there.
But it's a good one, eh?
Stan, are you still there?
That's a good one. A friend of mine, actually, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm still here?
Yes.
Okay, so a friend of mine actually followed her husband one night, and they actually caught him at the strip club. And she actually asked him, "But what are you doing here?" And he said, "But yeah, you know, I always used to come to the strip club, and I like when the ladies dance." And what she did is she didn't want him at the strip club. Then she got a pole. She got somebody to put the pole in her bedroom. And for the last 10 years, she's been dancing on that pole to keep him happy, and he hasn't been going to the strip club any since.
That's the point. That's why we are so transparent with each other, because we've been friends. And I like the comments from the US. Thank you for that tip, David. See, all the way from the USA, they're telling hike and have sex. So we must combine our interests. Hike and sex. That sounds kinky and interesting. I might try that. Like, do you go when you sweat already, or when you come down? When do you start having it? In the middle of the hike?
Behind the tree, somewhere there in the cave.
In the cave, where sounds exciting.
They're behind the rock on top of the mountain.
So, guys, when you see us go hiking, please don't follow us. You might be in for a surprise. Anyway, so thank you, Shaz, also from the US, telling us the best show in Africa. We love that. Don't watch any other shows in South Africa or in Africa, just this one. They don't have cable here, only the show.
And Claudine also tuning in all the way from West Africa.
West Africa. So I love this. I love this that we have the whole world connecting together.
Mm-hmm.
And I like this point, as I said, that it is important, yes, to have individual me time.
Exactly.
And that's what they said. Stan, weet je wat?
Yes.
We're close to the end of the show now. You see how quick our show goes?
Yes, it was very nice. I enjoyed it. Really.
Share this to his Cape Flat story viewers. You better share this. Ek gaan kyk op die pages en daar's later. Because we are from the Cape Flats and we tell the people.
Yeah, we're not from the Upper Cape Flats, no? We're from Belo.
To our American viewers, I just want to make a mention that we are from the previously disadvantaged area, low class income area. And who are African viewers, we are a low class area. Anyway, so yeah, guys, just jokes aside, Stan. So we come to the close to the end of the show, and at the end of the show, what we do, we try to motivate people or just be real. You just make a point of what you do and how you want to motivate or just be real with people. So I'm going to pop you on the screen. Lathia said, don't give people time because people speak from their heart. Maar Stan kan kak lang praat. So I'm just letting you know. Stan can talk long. So, but really, this is part of our end of the show, just to motivate people. So Stan, you're on the screen yourself.
Thank you. Well, all I can tell you guys is to, when you're in a relationship, be honest with yourself and be honest with your partner. Relationships where you need to work. It's a partner thing. You need to work to better yourself in your partner, and we need to be there for one another as partners. We enjoy the sex, right? But we also need to uplift one another. We know, because we are, at the end of the day, we are sort of each other's comfort zone, and we need to support one another. So it's very important that we as partners, as people, need to work on your relationships, not only maybe with your spouse, but also with your family, with your friends. A relationship is an ongoing thing. And one of the things that I always tell people, especially on my page, is try and be the better version of yourself. You can always improve. There's always things that we can improve on, and always make time very much for yourself and for your family. In many cases, our children look for love elsewhere, because we as fathers, we are so busy with so many things that we forget about our own family. And we need to come to a point where we start, with change in the home, where where they say charity starts at home. It's correct. We need to start the charity in our homes, and that is where we should start with our relationships, and then we should go take it to the neighbors, and from the neighbors we take it into our society. So work on that relationships and be the better you.
I love that, Stan. Stan maak altyd lekker punte. And I guys, tomorrow on Cape Flat Stories, go like and share that Cape Flat Stories page, because Stan is growing it. He's brewing something excellent there on that side. And I'm going to be on there on a Monday and sometimes maybe on a Thursday. It depends on chemo and on everything. But Stan and I talk about these things also on there. We talk about reality. We spoke about inheritance also. Trust me, some people weren't happy with what we said. But that's how it goes. And this is what we want to do, bring perspective. So Stan, thank you so much for being on the show. You can say bye to our viewers. And we might want to have you again on the future.
Definitely.
Thank you,
I enjoyed it.
We love having you on.
See you.
Have a brilliant evening.
I don't know if you still want to chat after this, if you have time. We're just going to end of the show and just wait for us in the background.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
See you, Stan.
And enjoy being intimate in this intimate weather.
Definitely.
Bye, Stan.
Bye.
Oh,
This was loved this topic. Brilliant.
Oh, I love the comments also on that side. And thank you. It was a great topic.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much for all your support, Sharon, for tuning in every week and commenting. David Bryan saying, Lathia is a secure woman. She is not worried about Biden going to the strip club. She knows what she's got for Biden at home, and so does he.
No, trust me, I know what I got and what I do. So Chad said, "I'm gone, y'all. Always fun, stop, and epic. I love it that the US viewers also stand in, and I will consider getting a poll. That sounds nice.
You know, that's another way of also incorporating exercise.
Yes, I will consider. But guys, and as we end the show, so I love our favorite viewer. I want to read a comment. I love Pina Colada getting caught in the rain. Listen to the words of that song. Couples should summa walk outside in the rain. Run, play, jump, puddles, etc. Love
Exactly,
that.
love it.
And I love that our viewers are so open-minded,
Mhm.
and I'm really gonna take this into consideration. But David's comment. But yeah, guys, we love you. But the main point in the end of the day is, you see what we spoke about.
Mm.
To everybody, things are more important than other things.
Mm.
Yes, David. To everybody, things are more important to others. Sex might be more important to you. Emotional touch might be more important to you.
Mm.
Bloody being hit with a bat every night against the head might be important to you. I don't know. Whatever is important to you, you should be happy within yourself.
Exactly.
Be it you want to sleep with your partner every day, or you and your partner sleep with 5 other people, that's up to you what you do.
Mhm.
I know the Bible might not say the same thing, the Quran might not say the same thing, whatever might not say the same thing. And I believe you should live in a certain way of faith, but you are a human that explores your own mind.
Mhm.
And I don't want to make you depressed or sick by following society's rules,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. So if that makes you happy, what makes you happy, do it. No one will judge you. You can only be judged by something else bigger than us. But in the end of the day, you're also living this life just as us, experiencing us, learning it, learning how to get through this life. And that is a mic drop
Mhm.
right there.
And I think as soon as you learn that nobody really cares about your life and what you do, then you'll start doing what makes you happy.
Mm.
And the one point I want to make when it comes to intimacy, and to just round it off, is that in a relationship, it is important to feel safe in that
Exactly.
relationship, to be able to be expressive and to be able to express yourself in an open and safe manner. And if you cannot do that, that is when you have problems in with regards to intimacy on an emotional and physical or mental level. If you don't feel safe to be expressive and to share with your partner what it is that you want, to clearly share with your partner what it is that you want, and for them to receive it with an open mind. So to all the viewers, thank you so much for all the support that you for tuning in and for commenting. We love the comments. Very open-minded, which is what the show is about, is to bring together different viewpoints and to have an open discussion about things that affects relationships. We've been in a relation in previous
And
relationships.
now everybody knows we're banging, so no
which
other
is-
guys can go there. I've been banging.
which is what which is what inspired the show, and we just want to give value.
Yes.
We want to create an open space
Yeah,
for
that's
everybody
it.
to share their viewpoint and to talk about things that
Exactly.
affects everybody
Safe space.
and the whole world.
Safe space.
Mm.
Honestly, that's what, as David Bryan, right across from the USA, it's a safe space.
Mhm.
But Brian, there's a place you can follow, Cape Flat Stories, Stan's place. You will get a perspective. You always ask us this question about South Africa and the difference between it. Go and follow Stan's page. I might put the link up there, and you'll find out just how our indigenous heritage of Cape Flats is, and you can relate to the people in the US. So, guys, we love you, and
Good night.